Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Have you been thinking of how to migrate to Australia but you don't know the steps, how much it will cost you, or where to begin with your Australian journey? In this video today, I will be sharing with you guys the 3 most common pathways, apart from employer's pathway, that you can use to migrate to Australia. So if you're interested in this kind of content, do not click out on this video as I will share all the details here in Welcome back once again. So before I start with anything, I would like to put a disclaimer. So now that you have seen my disclaimers, Australia has different immigration pathways you can actually come to Australia with, not just the employer's visa 482 that I have been talking about all this while. For you to start up your immigration journey to Australia, you need to know the first thing you need to do before you start up your journey. I've done a detailed video on how you can migrate to Australia if you're living in Nigeria. As a fairy godmother that I am, I decided to bring it back to you this time to also show you guys how you can navigate the Home Affairs to check out all the juicy information all by yourself. So my channel is all about you doing it yourself. If you want to use an agent, I don't have any issues with that. Because of this, I have also gone to show you guys how you can check out Australian agents in their website to pick out which agent that you feel that can take care of your immigration journey. So I will be sharing that link with you guys, and I will also be showing you a demo how you can check it out. Don't forget that I also mentioned about Vivo, which is VEVO. So when you go to the Home Affairs and pick up any of your immigration agent, which is Mara agent, that's what we call it here, you can actually use Vivo to check them out to see if they are registered. But of course, for them to be in the Home Affairs, they will definitely be registered. I'm just saying, in case if you Google and see any registered Mara or wherever you are in your country and they told you that they are Australian agents, you can always use Vivo from the Home Affairs to check out any agent to be sure that they are registered under Australia immigration. So guys, I went to Google and type in Office of Mara and it brought me here. You can see all the agents that are registered under Australia Home Affairs here. You just pick out the one that you feel you want. So enough of me talking about the agent for people that want to use agent. So let us talk about what is these 3 most common pathways that I'm talking about. So first of all, you need to also know that Australian immigration pathway is a point-based immigration. What does that mean? It means that you must have a specific point from different categories, which is your age, your education, your professional experience, your English language, and some other things. You need to have minimum of 65 points for you to be eligible to apply for any of these skills that I'm going to mention today. I tell people to aim more than 65. While some occupation with the 65, you will actually get a nomination. So I don't want to make this video so long, so I'm going to make this video in parts. So if you don't want to wait for me to do them in parts, you're in a hurry because you want to start immediately, you can check my old video. I will leave it anywhere here. You can go and watch it while we still digest everything, because Australian government always change their rules every time, so you have to be mindful of that. What you see here today might not be what you will see again tomorrow, because some occupations might take the 65 and you get nomination on time, while some occupation you need higher than 65 for you to get a nomination. All right, so I will show you guys the demo of what I'm talking about. That's how you can make up this 65 points, and I will also show you guys how you can use the Home Affairs to calculate your points by yourself. Why I'm showing all this in between is because some people will go online on Google and see some agents. Yes, they are agents, but they would, of course, you will pay agents if you want to know more. They will charge them $7 or $10 to just calculate their point. While if they are using the Home Affairs website, they can actually calculate the point by themselves. So I am doing all this to make it a lot easier for you guys if you are interested in migrating to Australia, you have the website to actually do all this thing by yourself. So right now, let us go and see what the point base is all about. I will show you guys that, and I will also take you to Home Affairs for you to see that. Then we'll come back and talk about the 3 skilled pathways that I'm talking about, okay? So guys, let's look at the age categories. For 18 to 24 years, you have 25 points. 25 to 32 years, you have 30 points. 33 to 39 years, you have 25 points. 40 to 44 years, you have 15 points. 45 years and above, you have 0 points for under this age bracket. So let's go ahead and check out for English proficiency. So a score of 8 bands in IELTS or PTE or TOEFL will give you 20 points. So these are the criteria and the points. So if you score 8 or 79 for PTE, you would have 20 points. And the PTE you need to write is the academic. So if you have 7 points in IELTS or 65 in PTE, you have proficiency, which will give you 10 points. If you have 6 in IELTS or 50 in PTE, you have 0 points. So let's check out the experience. So if you have less than 3 years, you have 0 points. 3 to 4 years, you have 5 points. If you have 5 years to 7 years, you have 10 points. And if you have more than 8 years, you have 15 points. I'm going to explain about this experience in my next video. Next is for people living in Australia that have experience. So I'm not going to venture into this a lot because I know most of you are outside Australia trying to come in. So educational point is the next one you're going to see here. And I'm also going to talk about this in my next video and explain better. So if you have doctorate degree outside Australia or in Australia, you have 20 points. If you have bachelor's or master's, depending on the university you went to or how many years is your course, which I'm going to explain further, you have 15 points. If you have diploma can be HND, or you have diploma in baking, diploma in electronics, diploma in hairdresser, diploma in mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, then you will have 10 points. You understand? Any trade occupation goes to 10 points. Any HND comes to 10 points. Any associate degree comes to under diploma. So if you have other qualifications recognized, you have 10 points. If you have special education, masters in Australia, you have 10 points as well. So this takes us to spouse application. So if you're single or you're married to a permanent resident or a citizen, you have 10 points. If your spouse would write English test and also assess their occupation, your spouse will have 10 points. But if you don't have enough money, I will tell you not to bother asking your spouse to go do the positive assessment, because it will cost you guys a lot of money, and your spouse occupation has to also be in the occupation list, and your spouse needs to get a positive assessment for you guys to get this 10 points. So if your spouse can write only English and have competency, which is 6 in each band, then your spouse can give you 5 points. Yeah, but if you guys have the money, you can go ahead and do the assessment together and also write the English. So you see why I talk about for students that want to study in Australia to always choose regional area. You have 5 points if you studied in a regional area in Australia. Accredited community language is when you have other languages that are needed in Australia, like translators and all that, and you write a NAATI exam, NAATI. You get 5 points for that. A lot of people from India and some African country that can find their language there also write this to make additional points. Professional year skill in Australia will give you extra points. State sponsorship, which is 190, I will explain further, will give you 5 points. If you studied in Australia, if you worked in Australia and studied in Australia full-time, you have extra 5 points. Let's calculate our points using the Home Affairs. I went to Google to go into the point calculator. It brought me here where you can see all the various visa subclass, I want to use 190, which is the state sponsorship visa, to do this illustration for you guys. And I'm also going to claim that I am 35 years just to show you guys what I am doing. So I have clicked on the skilled nomination visa subclass 190. So here they will ask you which age band do you fit into. So I picked 33 to 40 years. So we'll see what it's going to give us at the end. Here I choose 33 to 40 years, and for my English I chose proficiency, which will give me 10 points. And for my skilled employment outside Australia, I chose 5 but less than 8 years. In Australia I chose less than 1 year, which is going to give me 0 points. And for my education qualification outside Australia, I chose bachelor's degree. You can choose whatever it is that you have, whether you have a diploma, associate degree, or doctorate degree. Education qualification here in Australia, I said no, I don't have any qualification. Special education in Australia, I still chose no because I'm outside Australia. That is what we're trying to say. I don't have any community language. And skill partner, I chose that I am single. Professional year, I said I don't have anything. Nomination, I chose that I'm getting a state sponsorship. So this is all the points. My age 25. We can check it out, calculate it according to your age. I just gave you guys an illustration. So this is it, guys. At the end of the day, we all got 75 points with what I used, so you can do it to your own. Okay, guys, so now that we have calculated our points and you know where you fall into, and you know that, okay, I can make 65 points or I can make 90 points from all the things that Uche has talked about here, let us talk about the 3 most common skilled pathway that people use in coming to Australia. Number 1 in my list is called 189 visa. It is called independent visa. Why it's called independent visa is that you don't need any sponsorship for you to have this visa. It's solely what your point is by you having all the necessary, you know, the point that we talked about. Yes, you have checked your point and you met the requirement. And another thing you need to do if you are going for 189 visa is to be sure that your skill is in the 189 occupation list. One thing with 189 skilled immigration visa is that it's a permanent resident visa, meaning when you arrive Australia, you're already a permanent resident. You have some benefits if you're married, like your childcare support. You have benefits if you go back to school. You have Centrelink to support you if you're not working. So all those juicy benefits that you can get from Australian government as a permanent resident, you will have that with 189. But the thing is that the 189 occupation list does not have much occupation than the other 2 that I'm going to mention here. So it is restricted to a specific occupation. So what you need to do is to check out if your occupation is in the list of 189. You must be invited by Australian government for you to get this visa. It's not like the regional or the state sponsorship visa. The government has to be the one to nominate you. You must get an invite for this 189 visa, and you have to be under 45 years for you to get this visa, or for you to be eligible to apply for 189 visa. Although the 3 subclasses I'm going to mention, you must be under 45 years for you to actually apply for any of this visa. If you're over 45 years and you're thinking of coming to Australia, then you have to look out for like employer's visa, or you're looking for Australian Dama visa. It is called DAMA, which means Designated Area Migration Agreement. It's an agreement between the government and the regional or territory or the employers as well. So it has to do with people over 45 years that cannot come to Australia through any of these skills. They can actually use that to come in. So I don't want to talk more about this Dama visa. If you want to know more about it, leave it in the comment section. Then I will do a video solely on that. But before that, I will put a link about this Dama so you can go and read it up if you're over 45 years and you're thinking of coming to Australia. So back to my 189. So once you have checked the occupation and you have your occupation there, then you can go and you have also calculated your point and you have the points that you needed. Another thing I will tell you people about this 189 is that you need a whole lot of points. There are some people with 75 points, 80 points, and they don't get nomination. Like I said earlier, depending on the occupation you're coming with. Let me give you an example. I might be coming as a baker, and they don't have a lot of people applying as a baker, and you as an accountant has over 500 people applying for the same visa, and most of them have like 90 and you're stuck with 65, and baker has 65, 70. So if you see a baker with 65, they will get a nomination faster than an accountant with 65, because they would first of all take someone with 90 points before they would take an accountant with 65 points. So you need to make out your point. And how can you make more points? Is by making sure you pass your English. Yes, if you need proficiency in English, which is 10 points, you need to at least aim for superior, which is 20 points, to add up for your points, especially if you want to apply for 189. So now that I have told you guys all you need to do to get your 189, we will go to 190. So 190 visa is called a state sponsorship visa, whereby a state, any state in Australia or territory, would nominate you. So one thing with this state nomination is that they have their own skilled occupation list as well, apart from the one you will see in Home Affairs, which is the general occupation list. If you want to come in through 190, which is state sponsorship visa, you have to also go to each state in Australia to check out the state that has your occupation, check out their requirement, making sure you meet their requirement alongside the immigration requirement, then you can actually apply for this visa. One thing with this state sponsorship visa 190 is that it's a permanent residence as well. If a state nominates you, they will give you 5 additional points to add to your point test. For example, I have 70 points when I have checked my age, my academic qualification, my experience, my English, my spouse. I have done all that, and I have 70 points. And I am going for state sponsorship 190. If I applied to the state and they gave me invitation to apply, they would actually give me extra 5 points, making my point test to be 75 points. I have to meet all the necessary requirements for that state for me to be eligible to apply for it. Another thing with 190 state sponsorship visa is that you have an obligation to live in that state that sponsored you for 2 years before you can move anywhere. For example, I live in Queensland, and Queensland state sponsored me to be here. So I would not go anywhere till I spend my 2 years in Queensland. Even if I have a sister in Victoria or in South Australia, I can actually go and visit them, but I cannot live there permanently or work there. It will affect me because it's actually Queensland that gave me the sponsorship. So I have to meet the obligation of Queensland, which is to live and work in Queensland for 2 years before I can move to anywhere. Even if I don't like Queensland, I have to be here for 2 years before I can move to any other state. But our 189 visa that I have mentioned, that is a PR visa and also federal visa, you can move anywhere. You can wake up today and say, I'm tired of Queensland, I want to move to Victoria. Nobody is going to hold you because it is not a sponsored visa. So guys, I'm going to stop here today. I will continue with this topic in my part 2. Please watch my other videos where I talked about the 3 visa subclass. I don't want this video to be so long. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share this video, and comment in the comment section. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.